Welkom bij het Digitaal Fair Fashion Fest. En deze week heb ik allerlei internationale gasten op de sofa, zou dat normaal gezien moeten zijn. Maar het is dit jaar natuurlijk allemaal digitaal te doen. And my guest today is Bego Demir. Welcome, Bego. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
That is no problem at all, because Bego, you have an extraordinary story to tell, and it is situated in the textile factories, and especially according to my information, it is about jeans. What is your relationship with jeans?
Well, I was started to work in jean industry when I was 15 years old as a child labor.
Okay.
Because I immigrated from east of Turkey to west to find a job and to take care of my family.
Mm-hmm.
So my first job was sandblasting in jean factory, in denim factory. I bleached jeans with sand. So sand has silica inside this, but we didn't know. So in 2007, I diagnosed by a deadly illnesses called silicosis. So I worked long time and I produced for international brand. And then I got illnesses from workplace, and I got diagnosed 2007, and I start to fight for my own right in 2008.
Because that is the year that you started the Clean Clothes campaign in Turkey, right?
I started sandblasting committee first, and then 2013 I started Clean Clothes campaign in Turkey. Because while I'm fighting for my own right, my way came close to Clean Clothes. They support my campaign in the global way. So we worked together, and in 2013, I established CCC Turkey. So while fighting for my right, because the silicosis is an occupational disease, is recognized by the ILO, like the International Labour Organization, in 1948, and there is an agreement between ILO and Turkey in that time, but the government didn't accept us as a worker because the most of workers who worked in denim industry were unregistered workers. It's like I work for the main US brand, but I didn't have anything to prove to say I work for them.
Yes.
So, but we asked government, silicosis only came from the workplaces. It's not a normal illnesses. It's only came with the silica inside the sand. So it proved itself we are worker.
Yeah.
It took a few years to fight for it actually. At the end, we succeed the campaign. We convinced government in 2009 to ban sandblasting in Turkey. In 2010, we convinced again government publish a law to give all silicosis patients a free treatment right. In 2011, that was the final goal. Government published a law and accept all workers as a worker and give them all their right, like their monthly salary. So, and then
your fight paid off, Bego. I mean, that is a huge accomplishment, of course, but it took many years.
Yeah, it took 3 years. So, and then I find out when we banned sandblasting in Turkey, and a lot of multinational brand, they start to produce from other countries. So, and then I thought it is not something local, and I should run this campaign as a global, because textile is not local, it's global. So, and then we start a global sandblasting campaign.
And now your fight continues on a global level.
Yeah.
And
so we,
yeah, I'm sorry, but this is done by making connection with other producing countries, for example, or?
Yeah, like, I mean, 2012, we met like a lot of Bangladeshi workers. They worked at the same way. And we really raised a big awareness in Europe, in all around the globe. So in 2012, I think, over 100 brands, they signed a clean clothes campaigns agreement to say they will not use sand in their supply chain anymore. That was like a big global success.
Big victory, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then I find out we are not just only vulnerable in textile. We are not just only vulnerable workers in textile. All textile workers are vulnerable. So
Absolutely.
I decided I should fight for all textile workers. And then in 2013, I established a Clean Clothes Campagne Turkije and started to fight for all textile workers.
Wow, that is a huge accomplishment and a perfect trajectory on. It didn't stop you, even though you were faced personally with the malfunction of the fashion industry and especially the jeans industry in this case. It didn't stop you from fighting for the good cause. Wait, I lost the connection.
Not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're back. I lost your connection for a while, but now you're back.
Because it was not a destiny.
No.
It was something to happen to me. Like I immigrated from a social issue from my hometown. I gave up the school and became like a child labor, and the justice system in the country, and it didn't give up, and it still followed me in bad way, and it put me in the worst condition to work, and I got illnesses from that. It was not the destiny, and somehow I have to fight for it, and I have to stop it. So that was the feeling I had.
It is. I have to say, I'm talking to a lot of international people who are working in the fashion and the textile industry. It is something that you go to sleep with and wake up with. It is a must. It is a fight that you all fight at the same time. So you are both, well, you're all connected globally, but you're all fighting that fight because it's stronger than yourself, actually. It's a real must to do.
Yeah, it was like really became an ideology for me, and I did everything to just succeed the campaign because, like I said, I left the school when I was 15, and when I was ill, I started again to study, and I went to UK to learn English because in 2011, I couldn't speak like 2 words in English, and now we're speaking English, and this all thing I just pick up from the aim of this campaign to really support the worker.
Another question.
So when I established
Sorry,
go ahead, please.
No,
I just want to continue.
No problem. No, I just wondered. We are all wearing jeans. I mean, jeans is a very popular thing to have. I'm wearing jeans myself, but I think we do not know, especially not here in Belgium, what the impacts ecologically, but also socially on people working in the industry, how hard the impact is of jeans, of the production of jeans. Is there, can you explain how hard this impacted your life, or does it impact the environment or the planet as such? Well, because making jeans is not very good.
Yeah, I mean, the jeans itself is originally made for workers, really. In 1980s century, and it's made for worker in mining industry to wear it for a long time, and then in the East US, like the cowboy, they used to wear, like the villager used to wear jean. Jean were made for people, but in 1980s, and they find out bleaching technique, which make jean use less time. Like jean used to be, people used to wear jeans for 10 years and make it worn out while they wearing it. But in 1980s, a fashion designer find out like a stone, and which can make jean bleaching. Yes. So jean became like dangerous at that time, really. Wow. In 1980s until now.
Only
Yeah,
so
the way,
recently, only so recently that it became so dangerous to produce jeans, actually.
yeah, in last 40 years,
Wow.
actually. Like jean used to be like just from cotton and with a good quality. But in
Mm-hmm.
last 40 years, with the new technique, with the fast fashion, jeans become really something dangerous in our life. Like people used to wear their jean for 10 years, but now only you can wear for 1 year because it all has like plastic in it, like polyester in it, and
Mm-hmm.
all. When you buy, actually, it is already, you know, demolished.
Sometimes it is.
That's
It's a
yeah,
fashion
that's the
statement.
problem because sandblasting actually, sandblasting was that kind of thing basically. Like we try to make the gene age is just a few months. That was the technique we did actually,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
because the brand wants to sell their consumer more than one gene in a year.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
way the capitalism actually came. But it is
It's
possible
produced.
to take
It's
it back.
producing at fast rate. We need to produce
Yeah.
at fast rate. It's a problem that I've been talking a lot about recently, because consumption has to go up, and that's also for jeans. We cannot have jeans that goes along for 10 years, because that wouldn't serve the cause of profit, of course.
I mean, it is not just jeans. All textile industry became that way really with fast fashion. So
Absolutely.
like from 2013 until 2019, I worked on a lot of urgent appeal issues in Clean Clothes campaign, like worker applied us for their cases, and I have succeeded a lot of really failure cases in the factories. But the result I came across all sorts of issue is there is no fair product, like brand not paying enough for their product and they
Mm-hmm.
making it cheap when when the brand want cheap and factory push the worker make it in cheap way, and they stole from worker health, from store worker right, from stole from like the material inside the product. That's the make um, textile industry mess.
There's always someone who pays the price for a cheap product, for a cheap jeans or a cheap t-shirt. It's or nature is paying price, or people are paying the price for cheap products like that.
I mean, always actually the part paying price is worker,
Yes.
because the worker is the vulnerable part. Like I'm always telling the consumer, because consumer have power to change the world. They are the buyer. They have really that power in their hand. If they change their habit, if they ask for sustainable product, then the sector will have to change, because
Absolutely.
sector will follow that sector.
And that's why we are organizing a fair fashion fest for the fourth time in Ghent, because we want to raise awareness on how textile is produced, on where it is produced, of course. But I think it's very interesting because jeans, as personally, has never been in my scope as much as being that bad for environment and for workers. So we have to pay attention to that, of course. And we can do that by, I heard you have your own jeans brand, Bego. Can you
Yes,
explain?
sir. Like I said, when I find out the reason there is no clean product, it's like they're not making it in fair way. So, and then we had a video in 2018. It is a public video. We said, what is clean clothes? We asked the consumer. The clean clothes should be produced this way, and we clarify how the product should be made. And then consumer start to ask us, where should we buy this product? So, and then I decided if there is no that kind of product, then I should make a model and to tell them, yeah, there is a model. So in 2019, I established Bego Jeans. It is a brand that respects environment, nature, and humans. We pay the worker in our supply chain living wage. We follow the product from cotton field until the end. We try to make every part of it beneficial for human, for nature. So that's why we not use any stone washing technique in our product. We not use any bleaching technique. We just like make from organic cotton and deliver people in that way. Because we ask people, and if you want to bleach it, where it will be bleached in time while you're wearing it. And we also tell them we will not sell them a product for 1 year. Minimum, they should use it for 5 years. And then when the
5-year guarantee, Bego?
Yeah, minimum. So it is also returnable. When they wear it, we have a QR code in it, and we follow it, and we accept it back to if it can be reused, we will reuse it, or otherwise we will upcycling it.
Wow, that's a great business plan, and I mean that's just an example I never heard of, but it's really a nice example to get. Is production situated in Turkey, or is it situated elsewhere?
Yeah, it's all produced in Turkey. Like, I created a supply chain for it. Like, the people in supply chain, I mean the atelier, the factories in supply chain, I asked them with a principle, like we have a criteria. We say like all people in our supply chain must get living wage and health and safety be their priority. And then we ask their employer how much, when you obey all this rule, how much you need for your fee, like for your cost. So, and then we calculate the price of our jeans that way.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't have a clear price until we finish the product, because we pay all part of it fair. And then at the end we say, because we are also transparent on the price way, we say, yeah, we pay for this jeans, this price, and now we have to deliver it to the consumer with this price.
I think that is a very nice example of fair fashion, because we've been working a lot on textiles also as the city of Ghent. I don't know any supplier who has a full view on his total supply chain, and you do have a view on your supply chain. You even know every chain of your supply chain, so you know all the steps. I think that's quite incredible. How do you manage to keep an overview of that all?
I think all brands know all their supply chain.
Really?
They just close their eyes for some part of it. I mean, they do agreement with tier 1 factories. Tier 1 is the big factory in their supply chain, but some part of the product which is dirty, it's made in small subcontractors by small subcontractors, and brands don't want to see them. No. But they know all design about their product. They know if a product is whitened, that means they use chemical for it. If there is no sandblasting, they use potassium permanganate, this other chemical.
But they just don't want to see it. They just close their eyes to the facts.
And brands don't want to see that, because if they see that, they have to tell people. So they close their eyes for that.
Yes. That is also why we've had the Rana Plaza accident a couple of years ago, well, many years ago in the meantime. I mean, that's when brands said, we didn't know that they were producing there in that kind of circumstances for our brand. But actually, they should have known. They should know the supply chain, of course. And that's what you are doing, of course.
Yeah, it's their responsibility, because they are the one making much profit from that product. Because brands are principal employer. They have to be responsible for every part of their product. That's what we're doing. Because we're saying, like, we aim to make a clean jean for people, and we have to be sure about all step of it. I mean, I'm doing like zipper in one factory and other part in the other factory, but all factory I have to be there. I have to be known about also how to make that factory sustainable as well. Because I'm suggesting them to how they can make it fair way, and how they can make it in good quality way. But if you pay them enough for that, they will really collaborate in good way with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it is a marvelous example of how a textile industry could change and how it should work for planet and for people. Is there still a lot of textile production in Turkey? I don't know, so that's why I'm asking. Is there still a big production in Turkey of textiles?
Yes, we have like around 3 million workers work in textile sector, and
Three
Turkey is, yeah,
million.
yes.
Sorry, I'm that amazed. You know, it is something that I realized having these kind of talks. It's we think in Western Europe, in Belgium maybe, um, we know the story about Rana Plaza and we know Bangladesh, and we think our textile is produced in Southeast Asia. But I've learned that it's produced worldwide. It's everywhere, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Turkey is an important location for textile because it is a, a close location to Europe. It's important for Europe, especially after this pandemic. A lot of brands will start to convince their consumer by saying we are sustainable, we following our footprint, and that's why we produce from Turkey. And there is also a production part in East Europe, and we should be aware of that too.
Absolutely, and that's also under conditions that not are always fair, as we say.
Yeah.
So that also means that the Clean Clothes campaign still has a lot of work to do in Turkey. I'm afraid, or are working conditions better now than they are 10 years ago?
It is better than 10 years ago. I mean, it is getting better, but
Mm-hmm.
still a lot of work Clean Clothes should do in Turkey, of course. Uh, Actually, like there is a Clean Clothes organization is still functioning in Turkey and it's worked well. So we have a lot of factory closure case in this last 10 years.
Okay.
It is something I believe also brand responsible, like they not pay enough, they not follow the worker. When the factory closure case happened, the part again cannot get their wages, severances, again workers.
It's almost astonishing how close this kind of story gets. I mean, as a consumer, we have purchasing power and we think it's all far away. It's other countries, but Turkey is close by. And I mean, we have. I hope that that can be the message of a talk like this, of course, that we have the power to change those kind of things and to choose for fair fashion.
Definitely, like I have seen that power with my eyes. Like when I did Sandblasting campaign, we solved the campaign, we won the campaign with the consumer's power. So
Wow.
when I found that power, and then I start to join the Clean Clothes campaign by using consumers' power. So in 2018, I did a campaign, a great campaign in Turkey. I organized a worker who affected in a factory closure. They didn't get their last 3 month wages. They work for an international brand. So when the factory closed, the brand just turned back and went and they paid for their product, but they not paid worker.
Yeah.
So and then I mobilized consumer in Turkey to ask the brand to pay their worker because I said they work for you. You benefited the most for the product. So we organized the worker and consumer. We labeled the product and by saying I made this item for you, but I haven't been paid for it.
Yes.
So when this message reached to the consumer in Turkey, and so they start to talk on social media, they start to sign our petition, our campaign, and the campaign went viral in the globe. So and the brand came Turkey and they paid the worker. It was like the first time in Turkey history a brand paid the worker in their supply chain, which they are legally not responsible but ethically responsible for.
Ethically responsible for such a victory again, and so recently. And I'm really happy to hear this kind of stories, of course, because that is what we are trying to do here.
It's all succeeded by consumers' power, because
Yes.
when they speak up, when they tell the brand they buy from, when they say you have to pay for your worker because we are your consumer, we're buying from you, then there is nothing brand can do. They have to act what their consumers say.
It's something that we have to take along, because we know that, but sometimes we think it won't make a difference. I'm so small, I'm just a small fish. What will it make? Will it make a difference if I'm buying another kind of jeans or another kind of product? But altogether, it does make a difference. And I especially like the idea of not only as a consumer, but we still have to get into action and even signing petitions. I mean, it seems quite a detail of signing a petition, and it doesn't take that much time, but it seems that it's working towards a victory at last.
Yeah, I mean, our job, one of our jobs as an activist, like, I mean, I'm talking with my other hat. we mobilizing consumer, we bringing that soft power together to make it a strong power to use against brands and governments. That's what we do. When consumer think one signing is nothing, they should know someone actually organizing all signing, bring together to represent your voice.
And to bring change to a industry that should be changed and should be changed quickly. I mean, it's almost now or never. We have to take action now.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So
I'm very happy to have this talk with you, Bego, and I also have to mention that after this talk, there's a panel on even more jeans, because it's a focus point in our Fair Fashion Fest. There will be a panel talking about fair jeans and the production of fair jeans worldwide. So for people who are interested, please go to the website and see for that panel talk. Bego, I'm very happy to have had this talk with you. I'm very happy to have met you, and you have such an inspiring story. I'm so glad that we could share that with our audience and with the Belgian consumer. I hope that we can change a little bit in this industry by organizing a Fair Fashion Fest and organizing things like this. And I also hope that I can invite you for our next edition for the Fair Fashion Fest 2022. That's still a long time from here, but I do hope that we can meet in Ghent, and that I can show you around, and that you can inspire even more people in that time.
I hope we can like pass this pandemic, and then I will come. Definitely.
Let's first pass this pandemic first, and then we'll see you later on. No, but very happy to have had this talk, and wishing you all the best, Bego.
Thank you. I just want to give the last message to the consumer who joined the festival. So I want to thank to them for their interest. Actually, they are aware of the power they have, and please use your power to change the fashion industry. Thank you.
Famous last words. Thank you, Bego.
Voor iedereen. En mijn content zo aantrekkelijk mogelijk maken dat iedereen er toch wel...
In the name of science, yes, the scientists invented many things to solve the problem, but